Doing what you love doesn't pay the bills. Most people, they need to make money in order to be happy. When I see people depressed, I don't think of it as depression. I think of it as wasted potential. We're programmed to survive. We're not programmed to thrive. What people like me do, entrepreneurs, businessmen like me, what we do is we buy time from other people. I can't get any extra time. What I can do is I can buy that guy's time and that guy's time and that guy's time. You don't have to be average. You choose to be average. You choose to be poor. You choose to be out of shape. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I realized something this past week that's kind of been holding me back, so I wanted to make a video about it, and I think it's pretty exciting because it's onto something new. But I realized that I suck at making YouTube videos. I'm not very good at doing organized content where I have a specific topic to talk about. I realized the type of person I am. I like to speak in public, I like to speak in person, and I like to do podcasts. So when it comes to podcasts, I excel. When it comes to making these little clips that go viral on the internet, I excel because of the way I talk. I'm very passionate. But when it comes to being organized and creating these little organized YouTube videos, I'm not very good at it. So today, what I'm doing, and I think what I'm doing from now on moving forward, I'm just gonna turn the camera on, I'm just gonna record, I'm gonna have my little studio set up, I'm gonna get my mic going, and I am literally just gonna rant for you guys, but not specifically just rant. I'm gonna rant about specific topics. Like today, I do have an entire list of topics I wanna talk about on today's little podcast thing. I have a camera right there, have a camera right here, and I'm just gonna start talking about this stuff in the format that I like to talk about it because I feel like the most authentic version of me comes out. So that being said, make sure you like this video, comment, subscribe if you wanna see more stuff like this, and let's get into it.
I remember when nobody believed in me. I made a million, changed the scenery. I still remember when women were mean to me. These days I walk in the club with security. These days I'm feeling a change in the energy. These days you know that I gotta move differently.
Okay, so the first topic we're gonna talk about is my toxic trait. My toxic trait is believing that everybody needs to start a business. When I first got into this entrepreneurship space, believe me, I was one of those guys that was like, do what you love, do what you're passionate about, do something you enjoy, and that's how you're gonna be happy. And the older I get, the wiser I get, the deeper I get into the game, the more I realize you need to start a fucking business. You can't just follow what you love and do what you love because doing what you love doesn't pay the bills. You can do what you love as much as you want, but if your mom is hungry, if your rent's not paid, if there's no food on the table, if your power bill is going out and the lights are going out in your apartment, guess what? You're gonna be sad. It doesn't matter that you're doing what you love. There are very rare occasions where someone's doing what they love and they're like a homeless guy on the beach and they're just completely happy. But in most cases, most people, they need to make money in order to be happy. Even if they don't love what they're doing. I know a bunch of businessmen that get really rich and they're happier than the people that are broke. Most people that are broke are unhappy. I think there was a study that says around the $75,000 mark is where happiness goes up and down. If you're under $75,000, you're making under 75 grand a year, you are a sad person, or people tend to typically be more sad. Whereas people above that $75,000 mark, they tend to be happier. So when it comes to most people that have 9-to-5 jobs, on average, I think people make $40,000, $50,000 a year in America, you are going to be sad unless you start a business. So people call it toxic, people call it hustle culture, they call it all of this other stuff. I don't really care, I'm sticking with it. In today's day and age, if you want to be happy, you got to start a business. And the next topic, which is kind of related, is why your life sucks. I see on the internet all the time people complaining about their life, how they have no opportunity, they have no good luck, they have the worst luck in the world, the entire world is against them, bad things keep happening to them. And the truth is, you're in control of your own destiny. There's a lot of talk about, especially in today's world, there's a lot of talk about forming your own reality. And perception is reality. And in my head, this is 100% true. Recently, I just got back from Brazil. If you want to check that out, you can look at my Instagram. But I just got back from Brazil and I see all of these people super happy with completely nothing. Meanwhile, here in America, you have a bunch of people that are sad when they have $1,000 iPhones in their hand. They have internet access. They have access to the entire world of information. But you have all these people that are sad, lazy, entitled. The reason your life sucks is because you're entitled. You think you deserve a good life even though you're not doing anything to work for it or earn it or deserve it. You know when you're doing something wrong in your life. That gut feeling you have that tells you something bad is about to happen or something wrong is happening, that's literally your body telling you you're doing the wrong thing. But people still always do it, which is the craziest thing to me. You'll know if you are not doing what you are meant to do. You'll know if you're not following or living up to your destiny, because your body will tell you. You'll feel shitty, you'll be depressed. When I see people depressed, I don't think of it as depression. I think of it as wasted potential, whether it's fitness goals, whether it's financial goals, whether it's even just achieving anything, climbing Mount Everest, that's not a physical or financial goal, but it's still a goal nonetheless. It's still an achievement nonetheless, and it still requires a lot of training. I can almost guarantee you, people that set their goal out to climb Mount Everest and end up doing it, they're not depressed, they're not sad, they don't have this terrible gut feeling of their life sucks. They have a sense of fulfillment. And that sense of fulfillment comes from achieving your purpose, achieving your goal, doing what you were destined to do. Most of the time, people sit, they watch TV, and they allow the world, society to pacify them, put them in a cage. And because of this, they end up feeling sad and depressed. So if you think your life sucks, really put it in perspective. I like to tell people to travel, and people might say, oh, I don't have money, Rene, how am I supposed to travel? Save some money. It's not expensive to travel if you're gonna stay in a shitty place like a hostel. You don't need to stay in a 5-star hotel. You don't need a first-class flight. You can buy a cheap flight. Save $1,000. Go to a job, save $1,000. Do that. Book a trip to a third world country and see how they're living, because it gives you perspective on what should suck versus what shouldn't suck. When you travel to a third world country, you see all these people living with nothing, complete poverty, and they're still happy. Their life doesn't suck. So you entitled people living in a first world country, put that in perspective. You need to achieve your destiny, but more than that, your life doesn't always suck. And if your life does suck, ask yourself why it sucks. Okay, this next one is a big one. We talk about this a lot on this channel. I talk about this in general a lot. I think most people do. It's to stop trading your time for money. We hear this stuff about passive income all the time. We hear this stuff about not trading your time for money and working by the beach and doing whatever you want, having freedom. I think one of the biggest things that make people sad, and going back to the topic before, why your life sucks, one of the biggest things that makes people sad or feel sad is that feeling of being trapped. And the reason they feel trapped is because they're trading their time for money. Entrepreneurs, all we do is buy time from other people. We don't get more time. Time is not something that you can just magically create out of thin air. But what I do, what people like me do, entrepreneurs, businessmen like me, what we do is we buy time from other people. I can't get any extra time. What I can do is I can buy that guy's time and that guy's time and that guy's time and that girl's time. I can buy all of these people's time because I have money. All they're doing is trading their time for money. And in turn, they feel trapped. I feel great. I have a great life. I have ultimate freedom. I can do whatever I want. While these people are stuck and chained to a job because they're chained to money. So what you have to do is stop trading your time for money. You need to find a way to either save money and hire other people to do it, or you need to learn a skill that allows you to get paid more to then eventually hire other people to do it. Something you can replicate, something you can scale. Think about it like this. I like to say passive income doesn't really exist. It doesn't. If you think about it, there's no way that you can make money without putting in any work. That goes against all of the rules of the universe. Normally, you have to trade some form of energy, some form of time in order to get a resource. In this case, it's money. Passive income doesn't work. There's no way that you can input nothing and get money in return. But what you can do, passive income truly is just hiring other people to do the work. So now they're putting their energy in, you're getting the money back, and then you're giving some of that money back to them to continue putting their energy in. It's like an infinite money glitch in Grand Theft Auto. All you have to do is hire other people to make the money or waste their time and waste their energy. And that's how you get passive income, quote unquote, because that word's a little delicate. But if you want passive income, you have to make money, pay other people to do something, buy their time, buy their energy to make you money, and then give them a little piece of that, and then you keep it going. It's a real life infinite money glitch. The next thing I want to talk about is why average people struggle to get rich. Because if you think about it, most people in this world are average. If you're watching this video, you probably don't want to be average, which is why I'm sharing this with you. But most people in this world are average. That's the definition of average, right in the middle. And average people struggle to get rich because if you look at the world and you think about it, the world is competition. It's me versus the other entrepreneur trying to compete with me. I have a supplement company. There's a million others out there. Average people will not survive in that, right? It's like the law of the jungle. Dog eats dog. You can't survive if you're average. If you run slow and there's a predator after you, guess what? You're gonna get caught. And that's how it's been from the beginning of time. It's always been survival of the fittest. It's always been survival of the fittest. So in this world, when you're average, it's gonna be hard to thrive anywhere. You wanna start a business, guess what? There's 100, 1,000, a million other people doing what you do better than you. Your business is not gonna survive. That's why there's that thing that they say 90% of businesses fail. And most of the time, it's not that the businesses aren't viable or that business is a scam. Most of the time, it's because the people starting the businesses are average people. So for you, you have to think about your life as a whole and think about what you can do to stop being average, whether it's in your love life, whether it's in your fitness life, whether it's in your knowledge, whether it's in the way you take action, how hard you work, your work ethic. Think about all of the places in your life where you can be better, not average, and try to become better, 1% better every single day in all of those places, because eventually it compounds, and before you know it, you're great. When I think about it, I didn't become who I was overnight. It was a whole long process. It took me years, decade almost. Since I was 16, 17, I wanted to be rich. I didn't actually get rich until I was 24. So that's about 8 years of just working on myself consistently. But before you know it, you are great, and it doesn't feel like it took a long time. When I look at how much I know, I'm light years ahead of the average person. It doesn't feel that way because it feels like I accumulated this knowledge slowly. My fitness as well. I'm in great shape right now. But sometimes when I look at myself, I'm like, wow, how did I get to this point so fast? When in reality, it's been 10 years of just compounding. If you don't want to be average, you have to just continue to put that work in every single day. It's like building blocks on top of each other, brick by brick. You have to build, if you look at success as a big house, you have to build it brick by brick. And it starts with that first brick. Most of you guys don't even lay the bricks down. You're just cool with having a flat foundation, a flat surface, and nothing else. But the successful people, they lay bricks down every single day, no matter how long it takes. And the average people look at them and say, haha, you have this tiny wall and I have flat land, you don't have anything. But then eventually they keep going, and 5 years later, they have this big fucking house. And the average person is sitting on their little plot of land with nothing on it, not laughing anymore. That's exactly how I felt. When I was building my foundation, people thought I was crazy. It was really discouraging. It was sad. But now I look back and I'm like, haha, fuck you guys. I have a great life. Your life sucks. I'm here in this penthouse. I got this great view. I got a bunch of people that watch me on YouTube. I'm just extremely blessed. But it was blessings that I earned for myself. It's not like I was just handed it. So when it comes to being average, you don't have to be average. You choose to be average. You choose to be poor. You choose to be out of shape. You don't have to be average. You can be great. You just got to start building brick by brick. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video, podcast, whatever you want to call it, we're going to keep this first one short. I'm going to start getting better at it. This one's been a little difficult for me because it's a different style, format of content. But I'm going to get better at it. Like I said, brick by brick. We're going to build this thing brick by brick. And fast forward a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, this is going to be huge. And I'm going to have called it from the very beginning. The last thing I want to talk about is you got to stop being weak. You got to stop making excuses because everyone suffers from that. And I'm sure you've heard it a million times, a dozen times, even in just this past month. It's one of the most cliche things you could say. But in case you haven't heard it enough, I'm going to say it again. Stop being a little bitch. Get to work. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it takes. For me, once I started making money, I realized I got a little bit soft. I started getting a little bit comfortable, and I started being a little bitch. I started being weak. I started getting up later. I wasn't willing to get up early. I wasn't going to the gym as much. I wasn't eating as healthy. I wasn't willing to put in as much work as I normally do. And the reason that was because I was comfortable. I was lazy. I was being weak, but I had an excuse to be weak. Most of you guys have an excuse to be weak, which is why you're weak. I said it before, but if you think about it, if this was all up to survival, you're always going to make it. If you think about it, people always say, oh, I'm fighting for my survival, but they never actually die. People might have no food on the table. Oh, I'm fighting to put food on the table. I'm fighting to pay the bills. Guess what? The bills are always paid and the food's always on the table. They never die. They never end up being homeless and starving to death. Because what happens? Human beings, the way we're programmed, we'll do just enough work to survive always. We are programmed to do just enough work so that we can make it to the next level or make it to the next day. We're programmed to survive. We're not programmed to thrive. So as human beings, we'll do enough work to make enough money, to pay the bills, to have a place to live, to have food on the table, but we won't go above that. I see so many people that are living paycheck to paycheck, but in their free time, they're playing video games or they're going out. It's like, how are you living paycheck to paycheck, but also going out and playing video games? It makes no sense. But it's because human beings, we are focused on survival. That's it. We're not focused on growing to the next level. So for you, you got to get out of that mind state of survival. You need to get out of that mind state of, oh, I'm doing everything I can, but I'm just barely making it, barely scraping along. I guarantee if you look at your life, you're not working 24 hours a day. Let's say you sleep 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day because it's healthy. I guarantee you're not working 16 hours a day. And when you adopt that mindset, when you look at it, you're like, damn, I'm being weak. I'm only working my 9 to 5 job. I'm only working 8 hours. I'm being weak. Because how can someone that's already a millionaire, me, and other people that I know, how can we put in 14, 15, 16-hour days? But the average person at a job can only work 8 hours and say, oh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, because that's what you want to do. You're choosing to live paycheck to paycheck. You're choosing to be average. You're choosing to not grow. You're choosing to survive instead of thrive. So to end this video, if there's one message I can leave you with in this little kickoff video, start working to thrive. Stop being weak. Stop making excuses. Put in that extra work. Put in that 16 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day. Because eventually, if you build it brick by brick, before you know it, you'll have a mansion. And you'll be living in a mansion. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.